If you're somebody who wants to get below 10% body fat, you must watch this video. With over a decade of gym experience myself, in coaching thousands of people across the world, I've got 5 key rules, not only for you to get to 10% body fat, but to also sustain it. And throughout this video, I'm gonna cover each rule in depth so you can understand it, apply it, and be sub 10% body fat for the remainder. Rule number 1, you will look worse before you look better. Now, what do I mean by this? Many people will go through this and they'll start reducing body fat. They will eat in a calorie deficit and they will start to look flatter, a little bit softer, less full, and become demotivated by that. Now, you need to know at this point you're exactly where you need to be. And the reason for this is because by being in a deficit, you're slowly but surely depleting your glycogen stores and essentially becoming less full. Therefore, this is the main reason why you feel flatter. Don't get demotivated by this stage. You need to keep pushing through it in order to get the fat off. This phase is usually week 1 to week 4. After 30 days or so, you will then start to see condition improve, body fat levels reduce, and this is where you get into that motivation stage, where you see that and this will carry you forward into the next stage. Rule number 2, a roadmap for execution. Start date, end date. Everybody works better with time frames. When you have a project to complete, if you have a deadline, you will complete it by that deadline. If those goalposts need to move for whatever reason, there's a social occasion come up, you move away from your diet, you need to be honest, because if you set expectations from the off, this is when I start my diet, this is when I end it, this is when I'm going to be at 10% body fat, you'll be more likely to adhere to it. Nobody likes to walk down a road and not know how long it's going to take to get somewhere. To make this more motivating for yourself, rather than just a goal to get to 10% body fat, actually book something, a holiday, a photo shoot, maybe a competition prep, so that your work rate is going to match what you want to achieve. You may just want to achieve 10% body fat, and that's fine, but what you need to do is be realistic with how long you believe that's going to take you. That's the most important thing. And on that note, if you think you can get ready in 12 weeks, give yourself 16. If you think you can get ready in 16 weeks, give yourself 20. The longer you have, the more enjoyable it's going to be, the more sustainable it's going to be, because you have time to implement further strategies, which we're going to talk about later on in the video. Number 3, when you think you're almost done, you aren't. This is where you need to suck it up. This is where things are going to get tough. You're going to be hungry, you're going to be moody, your gym performance is going to drop, and ultimately you're going to want to sack it off. But this is where true condition and 10% body fat will come through. You will need to accept that you will be hungry, your training performance may drop off, and your moods will drop, because ultimately you're putting yourself through some suffering. You're reducing your body fat to the top 5% of males. Not everybody can do that, because through the pain will come the 10% body fat and the physique that you've always dreamt of. To make this process a little bit easier for yourself, if you are being self-coached, take physique photos every single week, because at this point your mind can play tricks on you. You can look in the mirror and think you're not getting any leaner. If you look back at photos and you review them on a week-to-week basis, you will see the data doesn't lie. What you don't track, you can't measure. Number 4, a magic formula. High days and refeeds. These are not used enough. Reason being, people don't understand how to apply them. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. But before we do that, let's define what a high day and a refeed is. This is where you are preventing your body adapting to the thermogenesis. So what you're utilizing is food as a tool to bring your performance back up, replenish and restore glycogen through manipulation of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. We do this because your training performance at this point is going to begin to suffer. So if you've been dieting for 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, now is a good time to start looking at high days. Fat loss may have stalled, metabolism may have adjusted, and you don't have much wiggle room to manipulate food lower or increase output higher. Therefore, if you utilize a high day, this will allow you to shift fatigue mentally and physically. You'll be able to perform at a higher level and therefore have greater energy expenditure in the gym, burning more calories as a byproduct of that. And ultimately, it will replenish and restore your glycogen stores if you do it correctly with the right amount of food. And we're going to talk about that. So this is key for 1, retaining tissue, ensuring performance sticks, and making sure that your mindset is strong enough to continue, because you can use these as little milestones to work towards. You dig, you refeed, you dig, and you refeed. So how do you plan your food around a high day? First things first, you reduce your protein 20%. Protein is the hardest macronutrient to digest. And by reducing your calories from protein intake, it allows you to put more emphasis on carbs that are going to be responsible for driving energy and restoring glycogen stores. By reducing protein, it also allows glycogen to store in the muscles quicker. So how do we decide how many carbs to have? This is where you will look at the literature and understand the glycogen ceiling. Glycogen ceiling is times 10 to 12 of your body weight in kilogram. So if you weigh 70 kilogram and you times that by 10, that's 700. However, if you've been dieting a longer period of time, you'd be more inclined to go times 11 or times 12. If you're early on, 6, 7, 8 weeks into a diet, you will very simply times it by 10. So therefore that's 700 gram of carbs, and a great way of doing this, rather than putting it all in one day, is dividing it by 2 and running it over 2 days. This is where you go from a singular high day to back-to-back high days, which can also be known as a refeed. So the data you're looking for here, if you run back-to-back, is if you run 350 gram of carbs and you gain weight, you've restored and replenished. If you lose weight off that singular high day or you maintain it, you can run another one in order to maximize what is going to be an effective high day. If you're implementing a high day and you're losing weight off the back of it, you need to go again in order to restore and replenish your glycogen stores. Otherwise, you haven't done the job. And that's what the main mission of a high day and a refeed is. A key thing to know is you want to be using the exact same foods that you're currently consuming. So if you're eating a lot of rice, double it. If you're having a lot of cereal, double it. If you're having simple, easy digesting fruit, again, add more of it. You simply want to add the same food so it doesn't cause digestive stress. This doesn't mean go and get a Nando's or a Five Guys or eat shit, because you cannot track or understand that data. You want to know the exact calories going in. And by increasing this food, it will also suppress appetite, remove food focus, and adhere to the diet even longer to finish the job. Rule number 5, and the most forgotten one, a calorie deficit is a phase. This doesn't mean once you've completed and achieved the objective of 10% body fat, you need to keep eating this amount of food and doing this amount of cardio. Here's where you manipulate your food up by utilizing more carbs, more fats, generally keeping protein the same, but giving you then the energy to essentially perform better and remove your food focus so you can sustain the 10% body fat. That is the goal. This doesn't mean by increasing your food, you're going to be in a surplus. This is where you need to navigate the reverse effectively. The reverse phase, you want to manipulate carbohydrates anywhere between 25 gram upwards to potentially 100 per week based on the response. When you're coming out of a deficit this harsh and you've achieved 10% body fat, you need to understand that your scale weight may increase with the increase in food because you'll be having more glycogen, but ultimately your body fat levels will stay the same. You will just restore and replenish the stores that have now been lost. And this is where the real success comes. You're fuller, you're lean, you're 10% body fat, and all of a sudden you have achieved your dream physique. So these are my 5 key rules for achieving 10% body fat and sustaining it. If you apply these, if you're consistent, you have the right mindset, you understand the thought processes that you're gonna feel along this journey, and you tie this in with a roadmap for a start date and end date, you'll blow it out of the water. So go and smash it and let me know how you get on in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.